Okay, so ngayon pag-usapan naman natin yung cognition now that we have discussed the different concerns, no, physical concerns and some mental concerns in young adulthood. Let's move on this time to cognition. So ano naman yung mga advances natin? Tumatalino pa ba tayo pagdating ng 20s? The answer is yes. Okay, it is believed that yung brain natin nagmamature pa rin siya continuously up until 25 years of age. So if hindi ka pa 25, no, may chance pa na paparating ka pa lang dun sa maturity ng brain mo. Pero remember, this is not absolute, no? It can be pwedeng ma-attain mo yung maturity na yan before 25 or even after 25. Parang rule of thumb lang itong 25 years, no? Pero it's not absolute. And pagdating mo dito, okay, the brain forms new neurons, synapses, and connections. Okay, and you will now be able to perform higher level thinking. Okay, one example is we can now perform what we call reflective thinking. And when we say reflective thinking, you now have the ability to continuously evaluate information and beliefs in the light of evidence and implications. So, hindi ka na lang basta-basta or hindi ka na padalos-dalos when you are now practicing reflective thinking. One example is this, no? Kunyari, kung pinag-iisipan mo ano bang bibilin mo, kotse ba or bahay, mangungupahan ka ba or bibili ka ba ng condo, for example? Okay, so those are some activities that require us to practice reflective thinking. And this is something we develop pagdating natin ng young adulthood, of course, because we are now dealing with a lot of situations in which kailangan natin mag-decide. Okay, and in relation to that, okay, nararating din natin yung tinatawag na post-formal thinking or post-formal thought. Okay, and when we say post-formal thought, okay, remember that in Piaget's theory, the last stage is formal operational. Okay? And if you look at this, post-formal, so para siyang kasunod ng formal operational. This is no longer according to Piaget, but other developmentalists propose na meron pang kasunod yung formal operational, and this is the post-formal thought or stage. Okay? And in relation to what I said in the previous slide, nararating natin ito in our 20s. So nandito na ba kayo? Tingnan natin. No? So what is post-formal thinking or post-formal thought? It's a mature type of thinking that relies on subjective experience and intuition. So hindi na siya by the book. You are now relying on your experience, intuition, but at the same time logic. Okay? And allows for, look at this, room for ambiguity, uncertainty, inconsistency, contradiction, imperfection, and compromise. So what does that mean? Okay, it means that yung mga tao who are in this stage are able to understand that there are no easy answers in life. There are no easy answers to their questions. Maraming mga inconsistencies in life, and consistencies are normal. Okay, and this is what I've noticed when I'm dealing with adolescents. Adolescents are not yet that capable of handling contradictions. So gusto nila palaging may isang sagot lang. And other than that, hindi nila tatanggapin yung other perspectives. Okay, ako I deal with students, no? Mature ones and younger ones. Yung mga younger ones, ganun sila. No? Parang gusto nila kung ano yung nakasulat, for example, sa libro, yun na yung tama. Or talaga naghahanap sila ng correct answer. Whereas when I'm dealing with older people, they are more likely to accept the answer na walang definite answer sa tanong mo. Okay? They're willing to accept the answer that there can be more than one possible answers. And it's normal. So if nandun ka na sa stage in which you are now capable of understanding that walang madaling sagot sa mga bagay-bagay, uncertainty is normal, contradiction is normal, okay, ambiguity is normal, okay, maybe those are signs that you are already in the post-formal stage. Okay, for example, ako as a teacher, I know that maraming mga bagay sa psychology na wala pang tamang sagot or walang clear answers. Diba? And that's normal. That's something I've realized along the way. And maybe dun masasabi ko na yun yung isa sa mga evidence ko that narating ko na yung post-formal thought. Okay? Other than that, no, another characteristic of post-formal thought is provisional thinking, meaning hindi ka agad-agad naniniwala. You are skeptical. For example, may nakita kang false information or fake news. Hindi mo agad-agad i-absorb yun. Tatanungin mo muna kung legit ba yun. And in relation to what I said earlier, people, no, young adults, no, who are in this stage are unwilling to accept an answer as final. Hindi naman masama maging skeptical. Okay? Because that's one of the characteristics of post-formal thinking. Next, the use of both formal logical thought, yung mga natutunan mo sa school by the book, at the same time, experience. This is very important. And this is what you learn when you start working. That what you learn in the school will be different, maybe not totally different, no, but it will be different from what you will learn sa work, sa trabaho. Okay? And for example, no, if you talk with mga mas mature na mga psychologists, those who have been working for more than 10 or 15 years, when they, talk about their cases, they're not only talking about what they learned formally when they were studying, but also they talk about their experience. Okay, so that's another characteristic. And this is my personal favorite, relativistic thought. Acknowledges that there may be more than one valid way of viewing an issue and that the world is made up of shades of gray. So what does that mean? It means that you're willing to acknowledge na kung magkaiba kayo ng opinion, it's possible that pareho kayong tama. It doesn't mean na yung isa sa inyo mali. Posibleng pareho kayong may point. And it doesn't mean na dapat mali na agad yung isa dahil tama ka. Okay, kunyari ako, if may student ako sa review na nagtatanong sa akin, Sir, bakit ganon? Ito yung nabasa ko sa book A. Tapos sa book B, totally kabaliktaran naman. So, ano ibig sabihin nito, sir? I usually respond by saying, it's possible na pareho silang tama and it doesn't automatically mean na mali yung isa. Okay? Or for example, nagbabasa ka ng research, magkaiba yung sinasabi ng dalawang researchers, totally contradicting. It's normal. No, it's normal when you do research that there are inconsistencies. And it doesn't automatically mean that one is, mali, no? One is wrong. It could mean na parehong may point yung mga sinasabi nila. So with that being said, assess yourselves, no? Are you now in the post-formal stage? No, nararanasan nyo na ba itong mga to? Okay? Other than that, moving on, okay? Meron din tayong tinatawag na tacit knowledge. Now, remember in the previous lessons, we talked about Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence, if you remember this. So, balikan lang natin ang mabilis yung practical intelligence, pagiging street smart. One ability that will allow you to get ahead in life is what we call tacit knowledge. Kailangan meron kang tacit knowledge. So, ano ba yung tacit knowledge? Sternberg's term for information that is not formally taught, hindi sa'yo tinuturo, but is necessary to get ahead. Like for example, no, sa trabaho, speaking of trabaho, kailangan ma-apply mo yung tacit knowledge na to sa trabaho for you to get ahead. Okay? For example, hindi naman tinuturo na kailangan pumasok ka on time, hindi tinuturo na kailangan marunong ka makisama, hindi naman tinuturo sa school na kailangan on time ka mag-submit, kailangan marunong ka makiramdam. Kailangan marunong kang kumausap ng mga tao, kailangan marunong kang gumalang sa authorities. No? So specifically, ano ba yung mga under ng tacit na? Ano ba yung mga components niya? One of them is self-management. You know how to motivate yourself and organize your time and energy. Yan, hindi yan tinuturo, but the ability to manage yourself in the workplace is one skill that will help you get ahead. The next one is management of tasks. Okay? Knowing how to write, for example, a paper or a project proposal. Okay? Kunyari, kung marunong ka mag-lead ng isang grupo, kung marunong ka work on a project is a skill that will allow you to get ahead. Okay? And other than that, your ability to manage other people. Kung meron kang leadership characteristics, that will also allow you to get ahead sa trabaho. Baka mas mabilis ka ma-promote niyan or mas mabilis tumaas yung sweldo mo. No? This refers to knowing when and how to reward or criticize subordinates, how to effectively talk to people, how to effectively talk to your subordinates, how to effectively delegate are things that you don't learn formally in school, but these are things that you learn with experience. Okay? And since we're now talking about cognitive development, let me talk about one theory of cognitive development across the lifespan by Shea. Okay? And according to this theory, there are several stages of cognitive development. Okay? And let's start with let's start with the acquisitive stage. And this is in childhood and adolescence. So sa acquisitive stage, no, nung kabataan natin, ito yung stage na ina-absorb mo pa lang yung mga information, yung mga skills na kailangan mo. Natututo ka pa lang, for example, how to count, how to read, and so on. Okay? Even adolescence, no? Ina-absorb mo lang yung mga gusto mong matutunan, yung mga kailangan mong matutunan. Okay? Sa school, no? You absorb everything that you need. You learn what you have to learn. Okay? Pero now that we are in our adulthood, we are no longer in the acquisitive stage, but now we are applying what we learned when we were younger to get ahead in life. Okay? For example, to advance sa trabaho. Most of you are in the achieving stage, wherein young adults no longer acquire knowledge merely for its own sake, but rather you acquire knowledge to pursue goals which relates to career and family. Kunyari, bilang isang adult, ba't ka mag-attend ng seminar? Not just because you want to learn it, but because you know its importance sa line of work. O bakit ka nag-aaral for the board exam? Because you know that having a license is mahalaga sa career natin. Bakit ka mag-enroll sa masters? Because you know that if you want to be a psychologist, for example, what you will learn in your masters will definitely be helpful to you in yung achieving stage. You use what you know to pursue your goals. Okay, and then makikita niyo yung mga stages na to, there are malaking overlap with one another. In the next stage, responsible stage, late 30s to early 60s, which overlaps a lot with the next one. No? But anyway, dito, established na yung mga tao. Middle-aged people use their minds to solve practical problems associated with responsibilities to others, such as family members and employees. Ngayon, you are not only thinking about yourself. You are now using your mind, your skills, your knowledge, okay, when managing people around you. Okay, kunyari, ginagamit mo yung skills mo to help your son or your daughter, to manage your family, to be the leader, or to manage employees, pumapagitna ka kapag may away. Okay? Ginagamit mo yung skills mo to be a leader to them, to manage the workplace, to motivate people. Kasi madalas kapag nasa late 30s to early 60s ka, okay, madalas yung role mo dito leader ka eh, which we will talk about in the next lesson. Next stage, overlaps a lot with responsible stage, executive stage. People in the executive stage are responsible for societal systems, government or business organizations, or social movements. So dito, ginagamit mo na yung mga knowledge and skills mo, yung cognitive abilities mo. Okay? As you hold mataas na posisyon in a society. Like for example, di ba, if you are a politician, if you are a CEO, if you are a manager, your cognitive abilities are directed towards leadership. So that is the executive stage. And then near the end of adulthood, meron tayong tinatawag na reorganizational stage, no? At the end of middle adulthood. Ito kapag pa-retire ka na ng kaunti. Dito, people who enter retirement reorganize their lives and intellectual energies around meaningful pursuits that take the place of paid work. You are no longer prioritizing your work. You are now replacing it with other pursuits in life. For example, sa mga matatanda, that can be yung time na i-google mo sa trabaho mo, ngayon binibigay mo na sa apo mo, which is now more meaningful for you. Okay? You may volunteer somewhere, walang bayad, because it's more meaningful for you than devoting your time to work. You may devote time traveling the world, which is a meaningful pursuit, instead of devoting your time sa trabaho. You may devote your time, for example, with something that gives you something na na-enjoy mo. Okay? Than devoting your time sa trabaho. That's why may mga middle adult na nagsasabbatical. They are taking time for themselves. Tapos babalik sa trabaho eventually. Okay? Tapos in late adulthood, there is reintegrative stage wherein older adults may be experiencing biological and cognitive changes and tend to be more selective about what tasks they expend effort on. dito nagiging mas mapili na sila kasi nga tumatanda na. Okay? So, posibleng ano na sila a little, no? Mag-slow down na sila a little in order for them to take good care of their health, no? Hindi na nila pinapagod sarili nila, hindi na nila ini-stress yung sarili nila. Okay? And finally, in the legacy creating stage, no? People may create instructions about disposition of their prized possession, funeral arrangements, or provide oral history, meaning kikwento na sila sa mga apo nila, and write their life story as a legacy for their loved ones. So those are the stages of cognitive development. Most of us are still here in the achieving stage, and some of you will maybe now in the responsible stage. Okay. And lastly, okay, we also have here the stages of career development by Donald Super, okay, which is very similar to what we talked about in the previous theory, okay, stages of cognitive development. And here we can see that merong parallel between the two, and the 4 stages of career development are growth, exploratory, establishment, and maintenance stage. Okay, the growth stage is very similar to acquisitive stage. No, people or children are learning about their abilities and their interests. Okay, like gusto mo bang maging doktor, for example, ano ba yung gusto mong gawin, di ba, mga bata, ano gusto mo paglaki mo? Most of us, no, or some of us are in the exploratory stage, teenager, no, 15 to 24. Okay, the person searches a fit between his interests and personality and the jobs available. Dito nag-iisip ka, ano bang course yung pwede sa'yo? Saan ka ba papasok knowing that these are your skills? Ano yung papasokin mong trabaho? Anong company yung pwede sa'yo? Okay, knowing that this is your skill and this is your personality. You are now exploring, and most people I know are exploring. And more mature people I know are already established, 25 to 45. In the establishment stage, no? Karamihan hindi na nag-explore pero masaya na sila kung nasan sila. Like, masaya na sila na, for example, proudly a teacher, clinical psychologist, manager, for example. Masaya na sila sa trabaho nila. They're no longer exploring other possibilities, but now they are mastering the needed skills in order for them to move up the ladder. And some people I know are in the maintenance stage, 45 onwards. Dito, hindi na sila naglilipat-lipat ng trabaho. They just aim to maintain what they know already. Their skills and their competencies and their experience. They protect and maintain the gains and keep up with the developments para hindi sila mapag-iwanan. For example, nung nauso yung computer, medyo marami na pag-iwanan. So yung mga naka-keep up with how to use a computer, sila yung mga naka-maintain ng trabaho nila. Dito kasi kapag nasa maintenance stage ka na, medyo mahirap nang humanap ng ibang trabaho kasi nga medyo may edad ka na. So most people I know stay sa current work nila even though hindi sila ganun kasaya. Kung masaya ka, edi good for you. And one of the challenges for them to stay updated, okay, in order for them to keep their jobs. Right? So there you go. And finally, as we end the discussion on physical and cognitive development at work, pwede ba tayong tumalino at mag-grow cognitively sa trabaho? The answer is yes. In relation to the discussion earlier with regards to the brain development in your 20s, your work contributes a lot to your brain development. No, a great deal of brain development in the frontal lobes occur during young adulthood. Particularly, we are now able to do more of problem solving, planning, and working memory natin nag-i-improve as seen in multitasking and better self-control. Okay? And what contributes to brain development and cognitive development at work? No? Yan yung tinatawag na substantive complexity. And what is this? This is the degree, okay, to which a person's work requires thought and independent judgment. In layman's term, when we say substantive complexity, yung ba trabaho mo simple or complicated? I mean complicated, not in the bad way, no? But let's just say complex. So the more na complex yung trabaho mo, the more na na-challenge ka mag-isip. The more na simple siya, the more that you lose your abilities. So the complexity of your work allow you to grow cognitively. Ako in a way, nasasabi ko my work is complex because I teach different subjects at school. And minsan yung ituturo ko, hindi ko forte. So kapag hindi ko forte, aaralin ko siya. Or for example, with the changes, for example, sa mga tinuturo namin mga subject, kunyari, ayan, nagbago, for example, from DSM-5, no, nagkaroon ng DSM-5 TR, so aralin namin siya. So the complexity sa ginagawa namin is the reason as to why we're still growing cognitively. And I hope the same goes for you. Okay? You will still develop your skills, and the complexity of your work allows you to further develop your brain. Okay? So maganda rin yun na challenging yung trabaho natin kasi the more na challenge tayo sa trabaho natin, the more na nagde-develop yung brain natin. The more na gumagaling tayo in terms of our cognitive, no, capacities. Okay? That's what I love about being a teacher. No? The complexity in what we do allows us to keep updated, okay, and allows us to develop even though we are no longer in school. Okay, and finally, let's talk about spillover hypothesis. It says that there is a carryover of cognitive gains from work to leisure that explains the positive relationship between activities and the quality of intellectual functioning. What does that mean? Sinasabi ng spillover hypothesis na another reason kung bakit maganda na complex yung trabaho mo kasi yung mga natututunan mo, yung mga cognitive gains mo, okay? Hindi lang siya sa trabaho nakakatulong, pero pati sa personal life mo. Kunyari, yung trabaho mo, nagmamanage ka ng pera. Hindi lang yan makakatulong sa'yo in the workplace, in the office, but it can also help you, okay, manage the finances of your family. Kung yung trabaho mo, psychologist ka, kumakausap ka ng mga tao, baka makatulong din yun sa'yo in raising your own kids. Yung experience mo as a psychologist, makakatulong yan sa'yo in managing the family, for example. Okay? And that's what you call spillover hypothesis. So kung magtatrabaho, it's good to have a challenging work para tuloy-tuloy ang cognitive development in young adulthood. Marami pa kayong matututunan na hindi ninyo natutunan sa school. Okay, so that's where we end the discussion on physical and cognitive development in young adulthood. We continue next time with a discussion on the psychosocial developments in young adulthood. Yun muna for now. I'll see you next time.